we should care a lot about the music that is produced here because, it's like a family. So if you look at Singapore as a family, and its music is one of those things that you want to care about and want to see the growth of music. And then we should care for each other's music as well.
It's a completely false belief that Singaporeans are not at an international standard.
Yeah, because they are.
They absolutely are.
They are.
For the Mando pop scene, for example, our musicians are the ones touring with the biggest stars like Ame, Wang Leehong, Lee Rong Hao. And then also the music directors are Singaporean. A lot of the arrangers of like the big Chinese pop hits for decades till now are Singaporeans.
I'm Mohamed Noor, and you are?
And I'm Alakanan. Nice to meet you.
Alakanan. Nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself.
I'm currently doing my diploma in arts management at NAFA, and I play the Parai. It's an Indian traditional folk instrument. They call it the mother instrument of Indian scale instruments.
Interesting to know that a young musician has picked up an instrument that is very unfamiliar in Singapore.
I'll start asking first because I'm a bit shameless, but I assume you sort of know who I am. So if you could tell me a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Bernice. I release my music under an artist name called bernice.wav. Yeah, and I write songs a lot. And I've been releasing a lot of genres. Like I'm still trying to find my sound.
Cool. Yeah. Do you play an instrument that you mentioned? A lot of guitars.
I play piano and guitar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
I know you
nice.
play piano.
No, I don't.
What?
Is that what you thought? Wow.
Okay, well.
No, that's all right. I think it's a fairly common misconception. I think a lot of people assume I can play an instrument. But regrettably, I not only am not able to play any instrument, I can barely even sight read.
Why do you actually pick that instrument? What is it about that instrument that got you that involved in this is what I want to play?
I went to India for training in Indian folk arts, including the Parai, including dance forms and everything. Hearing the instrument itself was amazing. More than that, I think it was the way the artists over there spoke about the drums, and they've been playing the instrument for many generations.
So you mentioned that you're an extreme introvert, you're very shy. How does that factor in when you're making music?
I think when I'm like alone writing songs in my bedroom at like 4 a.m, then it's like I'm by myself. Then I think I'm pretty open, like in my music. Like I just bear it all. Like, cause if that's the only place where I can have like zero filter, then that's the only place where I can have zero filter.
What is it like to be a public figure?
I was born in a musical family. My father was a musician himself, but something told me that music is my life. It's what I want to do. I didn't really have a lot of formal schools to study. I picked up from a lot of people around me because I grew up in the circle of musicians. So everyone was my teacher. I guess performing on TV, when I was in a younger age and getting to play with artists somehow made me a little bit popular. I didn't want to be a public figure. I didn't want to be popular, but I just happened.
What were you like when you were at my age? I'm 22 this year.
I think 22 was right about the time where I first really started getting into jazz music. At that time, I didn't really think that I would become a professional singer. But it was always at the back of my mind. And then my mom was just like, okay, here's the condition. I know you may have these dreams of pursuing music or performance. If you can go to university, get an honors degree in anything, you can then do whatever you want with your life.
So familiar.
I felt like it was reasonable.
So what are you looking forward to this year?
For this year, a lot has changed. When you have an audience, your energy kind of bounces off the audience and onto you, and that motivates you to perform even better. And
on a serious note, have you been practicing?
have I been? Recently, I was part of a production called Parai. I've been practicing for that production which was also digital because of the restrictions. But yeah.
Everything has changed. It's gone digital.
So, what are you about to do?
Last year, actually, I was interning with Leonard at Snakeweed Studios.
Oh, so lucky!
I got so much exposure to local indie bands, and I got to record them and arrange backing vocals for them.
You arrange backing vocals?
Yeah, because I was
So
a choir
cool.
girl too.
Oh, nice!
Hey, choir girls! Shout out choir girls!
So, how has the past year been? You know, what were some of the challenges you've been facing?
So I started music like from a really young age, and all you want to do is just like, I love this, I want to play it. But I think that the hardest thing that I had to really internalize was that what my musical expression is, my song, right, is something that, you know, I have so much emotional attachment towards, right, is now a commodity in the market. You realize that if you want to do it full time, you want to make it your bread and butter, there has to be some degree of commercial appeal for that to happen.
To make a living here in Singapore just to play music, it's not that easy. It's not that easy at all.
But
we have to be very versatile.
When people even in Singapore don't really support or know much about the local music scene, like if I want to grow in the industry, I would have to think of creative ways to engage the audience. If you're so focusing on like how to bring in the business side of it, like your culture, your artistic integrity and the essence of yourself, you know, you kind of lose a sense of the bigger picture often.
Of course, it'll be quite difficult because we grew up playing a lot of cover songs. You know, our Indian music was influenced by movies. You know, so we don't have a very strong hold for local compositions or Singapore composed song. It took a long time for them to realize, or for the media to support, of people to even understand what the singer-song is all about. I have to say till today, the support is still, not much.
Do you think there's a Singapore sound?
I come from a kind of awkward place. So I started out in the live music scene. I was doing a lot of jazz music. And so jazz music in itself is an appropriation of an entire cultural heritage that wasn't ours to begin with. And so I didn't really even think about what was the Singapore sound for a long time. To top it all off, we're such a young nation.
Yeah, it's still in its infancy.
We can't even begin to answer the question, is there a Singapore identity? What does it mean to be Singaporean? I think until we can understand that and define that, then I think we can begin to really then talk about music. In general, if people are not really listening a lot to whatever is being made in Singapore, then we're unlikely to start to create, or to mutually influence each other.
Correct.
And so our sound will always be a pastiche of things from all over the world.
Pastiche is the right word, yeah.
Maybe that is our sound, is a rojak. I mean, it's so convenient and such a, it's almost too convenient a term. Like, is it anything thrown in the rojak means it's a Singapore rojak?
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Yeah,
quite a
exactly.
specific combination of things.
In my generation, the statistics, your social media, your online platforms and everything, people want things out of you and they want it fast. You have no time to take a break. And
I disagree at all. When you sound good, you will be noticed. You will be heard. You know, you can put on a lot of content after content every day, but you'll be hearing the same thing. After a while, I'm tired. I know you're going to do the same thing tomorrow. I know you're going to do the same thing the next week. I want to hear something different. What is that one thing that I want to listen that I will remember? You know, I come from that generation.
I would love for it to be that way. For, you know, your love for music and you being good, you being true and authentic to your own music. Like, you get what you deserve and if you're good at it, and you will get that recognition. But it's not that way anymore. Like, passion is not enough. For me, as even an average musician, it's really difficult to find a balance between your passion, your creative side, and the business side.
I love the grit. I love the fire. Even though there are so many reasons that we've been told that we shouldn't do music and that we should just give it up entirely, there are still people who are writing songs, producing songs, even if they have bread and butter jobs. No shame in that also. I've seen so many clients that come to Sneak Beat like after working hours and they're working on their song till like late at night, and like it shows me that, you know, this is something that it really is an extension of who they are. Oh no!
No, I think you're absolutely right. It is beautiful that there are people who continue to want to make music. Not only that, I think I'm emotional because I also have many friends who are now at a place in our lives where we can influence, or we have some kind of power, you know, to make changes, whether it is in policy making, whether it is in terms of larger business infrastructure things. And I want you to know that many of us really care about your future, and we are doing what we can to try and let the powers that be know that some changes need to be done. So I'm so proud that that Singaporean musicians actually really love each other. There's a lot of love, and people really, really are very generous.
Yeah.
So a lot of generous people
Yes,
in our scene. So I'm really proud of that.
I mean, you say you're a Charlie Lim fan.
What's so bitter about you, babe? I don't understand. Was I trying to cash in a fantasy without the reality check? But I never wanted you to lie to yourself about happiness, when all it was just a little lonely.
Okay, this is an African instrument called the djembe. Okay, I fell in love with this instrument in the early 90s. Of course, same like the culture, African culture, involved in rituals and practices and involved in dances. Okay, so why don't you play something and I'll jam with you.
Okay.
Lovely.
Music is a form of soft power. This is why you should care, because we are in a position to be an influence in the region.
Yeah.
Good music is something that can resonate with the listener. It doesn't have to be complicated. You know, suddenly people feel the joy, or the music can speak in some ways where it creates an emotional impact on the person.
To bounce off that energy within each other, it's a whole language, music, and to be able to communicate through that language, that's important. All I know is that I still want to have the passion and love for my music and be able to bring it to more of my own generation and to just have fun, be happy with my instrument.
Have fun. When I was invited to go to India to do workshop classes and all that stuff, what was unique about me was because of my influence with other cultures. This is our advantage. Put together different cultures together and bring music, then it becomes very unique. It can actually go world stage, and I would love to see music from Singapore go to the world stage.
I think the bitter truth is, if Singaporeans don't care about local music, really, who else will? It has to start from us. It really has to start from us. I mean, we've got amazing talent, people who deserve to be heard.
I would say that if you can relate to us as humans, give us a chance. Listen to us and let us speak for you, for all the things that you can't express. We'll do it for you in music. Yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you.